All right, we're dripping in irony over here. Two stand-up fighters, a striking fest that's going to take place at UFC 234. That's right, the co-main event at UFC 234 is Anderson Silva versus Israel Adesanya. But I'm sitting down as we say it. I'm not standing. I don't know. I can't contain myself if I just picture all the different ways this fight can end. It's going to be a highlight reel type finish. I can guarantee you that. But my guy Andy, I don't think he can get it done, guys. Look, Israel Adesanya is minus 750. Silva comes back at plus 450. I'll put something on the old guard, but I think Israel Adesanya is going to get it done just because he's a faster, younger, fresher version with a more diverse attack, a more riskier attack, only because Anderson just doesn't do what he used to do. And, boy, there's some really, really great techniques that I've been seeing out there, including what Johnny Walker did. I think Dan described it excellent on yesterday's show. You know, that heel kick to the spinning back fist. Yep. I mean, these strikers are doing some dynamic stuff, and I think Israel Adesanya is going to do something like that. But make no mistake, I never forget, they wear 4-ounce gloves, and Anderson Silva will not be intimidated by the hype, will not be intimidated by being the road warrior. He does have some incentive because if he wins, he gets a title shot. So could this be the last time Anderson Silva does something dynamic out there? I don't know, man. I cannot wait. Guys, what do you think about this one? Goes, you go first this time.
Well, I think the only thing
second, because I already went. I'm giving you Adesanya.
That Anderson maybe doesn't do as well as he used to is put fear in his opponent's eyes. That's something that a guy that we've referenced quite a bit lately, Mike Tyson, used to do to a lot of people. Once he suffered that big loss, some of that fear started to go away, and fighters are a little bit more aggressive. And you look at a guy like Israel, very tough mentally. He hasn't shown anything to scare him as of late going into the UFC, so I don't think he's going to have that at all. I think he's going to come forward. I think he's going to put pressure on Anderson Silva. I think it's the people that do that have success with Anderson Silva. So I got Israel all day, man.
You know what I didn't say, though, is if he's going to finish him or not, and I think he will. But do you think he will, or do you think this goes to a decision?
But you know what? Like, I don't think he'll finish him, but gambling-wise, I mean, why not, right? When are you going to get Anderson Silva at that price? We saw what happened with Jose Aldo. A lot of people counted him out, right? And get him at an underdog. Why not?
All right. Dan Tom, the fight analyst, who do you like?
Those odds are insane, but you guys are bringing up good points. You know, Goes was talking about that aura of invincibility, and that's something that I think definitely affected Anderson when you go back and look at his career. But he's shown that he can win fights without that, and he still is very difficult to beat even without that, even in his later career. Also, what George said, though, I think is a little more telling for me when a fighter gets older. You know, they always talk about the power stays with you, but the speed's the first thing to go. And Adesanya will certainly have that, along with his style-bending sensibilities, if you will. But, you know, to take a break from the techniques, for me, this is more of a psychological fight, guys, if you ask me. The odds make it really interesting because of that. For example, the odds would indicate that Izzy should be able to finish Anderson here, right, guys? Yep. However, I find myself going toward the decision route. And that being said, that makes it very dangerous because the last time we saw Anderson Silva was against Derek Brunson. I actually picked him by decision. I wasn't sure. You know, Brunson had the power to knock him out, had the technique to beat him past to victory there. But, you know, he was a fan of Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva, aura of invincibility being declined aside, still is very crafty, and he can con his way into winning fights. He can con the judges. He can really kind of, you know, he can really bullshit you, you know, to be honest, you know, making you think offense is going to come, making you think he's busier than he actually really is. And we saw him be able to take a close and controversial decision. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do that here. If he doesn't, you know, if he doesn't, if we think about that fight, guys, the fight before that he took last minute against DC. If he doesn't take that fight, he's only fought once in 3 years.
Wow.
So it's a really weird sample size to draw from here. What I'm going to be watching for, though, is if Israel Adesanya gets a little bit too much of a fanboy in there. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he kind of carries him a little bit, because even people who accuse, and I don't know that to be true, I'm not speculating or saying it was, but even people who accuse Daniel Cormier of quote-unquote carrying Anderson Silva. Ask Daniel Cormier. He got hurt with a body kick toward the end of that fight. That was not easy to quote-unquote carry Anderson Silva. So I'll be real interested to see how Adesanya plays his hand, if he falls into the trap or can put it aside and get business done. I have him by what I feel will be a depressing decision because we're Anderson Silva fans, but it's the odds make me want to sprinkle on Silva, right?
You watch a lot of film. It's safe to say Anderson's got a good chin, minus when Weidman clocked him.
Yeah.
And he's been knocked down. He hasn't really ever really. He doesn't get wobbled. Nope. He just kind of gets knocked down and gets back up. Yep. You know what I mean? Can he take a few of those from Israel Adesanya? And And is he also a more filled out 185? You know what I mean? Like, if they go strike for strike, could that be dangerous for Israel? Because Anderson's pretty accurate too, and when he throws his hands or his feet, I mean, he knows how to zero in on an opponent. What do you think? Like, in your breakdown and the way you've looked at it, are you giving Anderson a chance? Like, do you see sequences where he may take control of the fight, take a round, or
the one word that stands out is when. And that's my problem with Anderson Silva is you never know when is going to happen. With Michael Bisping, another time when he traveled overseas on a main event, there were times where you felt like he could have done more, and he didn't do it. And I can see that scenario coming up again.
But the clock is ticking, and he has a chance to win a title. So you think Anderson will come out guns a-blazing?
Nope.
There's kind of two questions there, so I'll answer the first one you set up for me, which was do I think he'll knock it out? I don't think that's a crazy thought. Anderson Silva, like you said, George, only been stopped once, and I would even argue at this stage of their careers, he's the more potent one-shot knockout threat.
Yeah. All right, there you have it. UFC 234. It goes down on Saturday, and of course, keep it locked on MMA Junkie. We got you covered for pre and post-fight coverage. I can't wait for this one. Israel Adesanya versus Anderson Silva.